Welcome to Center Hice Productions. It's October the 2nd. This is the Steel Curtain episode. I believe it is week 9, episode 9, week 4 against the Texans. Please hit the likes and the subscribe down below in your right-hand corner. This is the Revelation episode. This is going to be a strong statement. We got crushed 30-6 by the Houston Texans. Now, I know they're better coached now. Okay, I'll grant you that. They're a better coached team from the looks of it. Then again, they only played us. However, this is the revelation mode. So 30-6, this was an absolute disgrace. We can come out, we can play actual football with Cleveland and other clubs. In our preseason. Preseason's a joke. The preseason for the Steelers was a mirage. Make you all believe the Steelers are in good hands and it's all okay. Wrong. Khan and Tomlin are trying to put a mirage there for you. Well, guess what? The mirage just has been blown apart. We got shredded by a team that is a basement team. Now, they might be improved a little bit, but for a quarterback like Stroud and Coleman, Pierce, the guys, they're improving. I would imagine they've been getting top picks. They're not at the level to have done what they did to us yesterday. This is to tell you how bad a condition our team is in. Now, for 6 years, about approximation, and this is approximation, about 6 years, we've been in a situation where we've had no line. When Mike Pouncey was there, that was all you had left. And there was nothing around him. Unfortunately, we neglected it at the end of Kevin's reign as GM, Covert. So it got neglected, and it wasn't addressed. Well, guess what? We were smart enough to address it this past draft with finally getting a piece for the line, and that was a good move. Problem is, we let as bad. I know the word is that Devin Bush's attitude stunk. However, an ex-first round draft pick, you don't let him walk away without getting nothing for him. And I don't believe we got anything for him. Spillane, how do you let him walk away? This was a young kid in the middle linebacker position that looked good for us. How do you let this guy walk away? He was doing quite well. And Bush did a great job calling plays, on the field for the defense. And you can say what you want about his attitude, but these guys, when they were in the middle linebacking crew, did a much better job than what's there now. We were all given the mirage that these replacements, veterans, were better. Lies. Wrong. I'm going to call it Stephen B., Ryan Clark. You guys have, your reporting on the NFL and your Steelers in the Steelers background. Steeler fans. You usually call it like it is, like I do. And I can tell you from playing coaching, this is a joke. You can see the writing on the wall at the end of Ben's tenure. Why they did nothing about it then, hoping for a miracle that Ben could put it off, be a one-trick pony. Yes, the Steelers should have won more Super Bowls than 2 while Ben was there. But we ran into problems that weren't resolved properly fast enough, such as the Antonio Brown situation, which seems to have been the writing on the wall of what was going on in Steelerland. Anyway, this is not a steel curtain. It's a sham. Now, I'm from the old school where we had a team. And it was always, the Steelers were always built on defense. Well, this is a joke. Now we have a couple of promising characters. Thank God for TJ Watt because he is the face, and for Fitzpatrick, probably pretty much the face of the Steelers at the moment. Now we got Porter, Highsmith coming along, and a couple others, but our offense needs a whole bunch of work as well. Uh, Dante Johnson, how the hell did we get into the concept that he was going to be our number one receiver? That blows my brain cells. I know, here we go again. Claypool, and I know he's not doing too well in Chicago. And yes, he was a problem. I get it. But I'll tell you what, he had way more promise than Dante Johnson. Dante's Mr. Drop the ball, put pressure on him. He don't want to get hit. You haven't got actually I think you do have with Pickens, but he's too young. But you need to get somebody to complement Pickens as another wide receiver. And if you're going to focus your time on Dante Johnson, is you want to like puff him up, well, you're making a mistake, and you're lying to Steelers fans. Steeler Nation, the revelation is here. We have been exposed. We were shredded yesterday by the Houston Texans. It's one thing to get destroyed by the San Francisco 49ers, who have one of the best defenses in the league. Unfortunately, though, even in that game, no longer having the elite quarterback that played us, should have been a way closer game. I expected them to beat us, but not by what they beat us by. That was the first exposing of the Steelers for what they are. We didn't take full light. We gave the Steelers a chance, and yeah, they rebounded a bit. Shockingly, I don't know how they did it. To tell you the truth, I think for the Browns, personally, that's a stacked team, and there's something wrong there. If you can't get that should be your number one team in the AFC, North, and how they're not is beyond me. That tells me there's something not being utilized coaching wise. I'm not saying he's not a good coach, but I think imagine if Tomlin had that team, they'd be number one, or Harbaugh. Anyway, Ravens are going to bonus out and be the top team in the AFC. There's no ifs and buts or whats. They know how to patch. They always manage to find the right guys to patch their problems. And normally patch jobs don't work. Ravens have been very fortunate in that department. They address their needs, and Harbaugh seems to be able to work with nobody's. Just his luxury. Now, however, I don't think Jackson's an elite quarterback whatsoever. I've said that all along. They got a good team, though, and they're well coached. They'll be number one in the AFC North. Okay. Browns hopefully will wake up. But like I said, if Harbaugh or Tomlin had that team, they'd be winning a Super Bowl because the Browns are stacked. There's no reason for it. Stephen, how he cannot get this team together is beyond me. He might be a good coach. I don't think he's great. So they should be looking at, since we're at the end of the road, I wonder if, Tomlin's not saying anything about his future. I could see Tomlin going there. And he'll get a Super Bowl for them if he ever does. But however, that being said, Steelers are they're the basement team of the AFC. Let's make no mistake of the AFC North. Make no mistake about it. We've been lied to. We've been shammed and miraged. And the Steelers are that bad. They are the basement team. They're not built on defense anymore at the moment. And Matt Canada couldn't coach his way out of a wet paper bag. For him to get extra duties, are you out of your caught-picking mind? And you're seeing what giving him extra duties does, doesn't you? He's supposedly working with Pickett. That poor kid was slammed around, bounced all over the place, crushed, because we have no line. Thank God our running backs are getting more because we're making more plays running wise. That's really what it is. Warren's like a missile, and he's going to be a good one. And Harris is a good one as well. It just, they still get cut back a bit from what they could be doing if we had a line. Just having that one draft pick for our line, great move, but we need a whole lot. Those veterans that were brought in around him, that one piece, they're a joke. They're not the answer. They're not at that level. You need the higher end of the scale. So we were deceived. There's no cohesiveness there. They're not at that stature. Same thing that happened to our linebackers to replace Bush and Spurling. They're not the guys that replaced them are at that level. They're lesser product, and it's showing. Even Tomlin can't get these guys because they're not at the quality that the guys that just left even last year. So trying to do a patch job, Colbert knew what was going on. He knew it was coming for a while. He did his tenure ago. So hats off to him. But he knew it was time to go. He seen what was coming. This team needs to be rebuilt, and I'm sure that if management and our coach would go to ownership, there would be no problem for them. With the owner we have is phenomenal. We know this. Probably the best in the NFL. He would easily accept a rebuild. This team, you can say it how you like. It's in a rebuild. However, you have, I don't know what's going on there between Khan and Tomlin. If they're trying to do a patch job instead of and rush the rebuild, it's not going to work. And it's not working. So good on you. You've been exposed. You cannot. It's the same as doing a city street with putting little plug holes of asphalt in the holes to be a great repair. Well, you ever notice you drive over those patch holes, they're still bumpy and they jolt your vehicle and all that jazz. And God help you if a plow goes over them, they're ripping them out of the ground left, right. Then you got this big gaping hole that destroys your shocks and ball joints, tie rod ends. Well, that's what you got here in Steeler land. So, Con, you want to do something good? Since you're only your first year, you might want to stop the deceit, admit, because a team only rebounds from this, and good dynasties are built with a proper rebuild. That Steelers team that was built in the 70s, that was good drafting. Okay? Then we got into the Cower area, because I hate to say it, I love Tomlin. He was given a team that was a Super Bowl team that Cower already built with Colbert. So he got handed a beautiful team. That team seemed to just bit by bit get destroyed. Could have won 6 Super Bowls easily had they managed that team properly. Something went wrong. And Antonio Brown was a part of the problem. We know that. But however, let's be honest to Steeler Nation and to the Steelers fan, we're not as naive, Con, as you think we are. Some of us has played football, some of us has coached, and we know the game. This needs a rebuild. Go to ownership. They'll do it. He's a great owner. We already know that. The Rooneys are great people. They'll accept it. But for any franchise to get back to glory, it's going to take you 3 to 5 years to rebuild. This team, we got, like I said, the big mirage. Which something there that's not there? Well, this team is not there. That's why I don't like preseason. I said it all along. The mirage was up. Oh, this team is going to be a contender. Like hell. Sorry to say that. They're not going to be a contender. They're a contender for the basement. And they may be lower than just the basement of the AFC North. They may be in the basement of the AFC, close to the basement. 1, 2, 3, that type of thing. They deserve to be honest. And for us to get out of the mode, Con, you're beginning of your stage, why don't you try to make history in the right direction with your tenure? Okay? Why don't you try to put the Steelers back on track to a glory time? You got the right kid for a quarterback, but this is another problem. Why are you trying to rush it? And this has been a problem in the NFL of recent. You get these young, promising quarterbacks, and all the teams want to rush the development of these quarterbacks. Well, I say you got such a disaster on your hands. Why are you trying to get this kid's head ripped off? Because yesterday I felt so bad for him. Yes, he makes the one play here or there that he runs into a sack, but that's only one. All the other sacks are on that line. There's no time for him. How he's putting up with it is beyond me. Thank God he's athletic because he knows when to run that type of jazz, and he's usually pretty accurate. But the pressure was so intense yesterday that, of course, he's got to release that ball in a hurry, and you had some picks. Okay, but that man was slammed around like a toy. Okay, and that showed you how pathetic. Right now, there should be guys on that line fired. And Matt Canada, see ya. We gave you the benefit of the doubt. That was our mistake. You're not qualified for the NFL. Now get somebody in there, get your ass, and beg Rosenberger to come back and coach that offense. You want to do something right? Get somebody who can coach. He might be able to coach in college. He's evidently showing the NFL ain't for him. Correct? I don't care what his little hand holding thing was with Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett's just a kid. He doesn't know better. He doesn't know what the NFL's about yet. He's learning. This Matt Canada is not NFL capable. And we've been doing a poor job of bringing in new coaches in replacement of a lot of elite coaches that were on this team. Somebody's got to get a grip on it. Why don't you take the time where Kevin Colbert should have got a grip on it? There were too many times there were guys being brought into the defensive end to join in. They weren't qualified. You can see there's problems in our coaching as well. Now, Tomlin might be the only damn one that can coach. But the rest of them, you need an overhaul. Who's coaching that offensive line? It's a joke. It's been a joke. So get your ass to fix the offense. Get Ben Rosenberger. He showed he could do it when he was injured with the Steelers, when he had Michael Vick, and rejuvenated Michael Vick's career because he knew how to come up, create plays as a coaching capability. Get yourself, Tomlin. Get over yourself. I love you. But get over yourself. Because you know what? The guys you brought in for the rest of that coaching staff on the defense are a joke. The players you brought in as middle linebackers to replace Devin Bush, to replace Spilling, it's a joke. The guys that you put in this fixed offensive line, it's a joke. So let's get rid of the mirage. You have been revealed. And I kind of thank God the Texans crushed you because it woke us up. I make my prediction now. You guys are going to be at the basement. And although Tomlin's weird in the sense that he's like Harbaugh, he can coach some pretty crappy teams. That's one thing I'll give Tomlin. However, my knock against Tomlin is he's allowed a lot of shenanigans to go on in these coaching groups where he's bringing in the wrong people and shenanigans that players are pulling on the field. Quality wise, you can not, like Howard, unfortunately, was with Covert to build that last great Steeler team. And unfortunately, poor Cowher, I'm just glad he got a Super Bowl after doing all the work to create that team. That's one area Tomlin's not very good at. He hasn't shown that he can build a team. He had that team handed to him, and I love him because he can coach some pretty crappy teams. But build a team? That's a whole different can of worms. Just because you're a good coach, sometimes that means maybe you should have your hands out of the drafting because you're a coach and you don't have the qualifications of knowing what you need as players on the field. Okay, Covert, I think, gave you too much leash because he was so used to having Cowher who knew what type of player you needed. Look at Bettis, Jerome Bettis, come on. Ward, come on. Holmes, Santonio Holmes, Troy Polamalu. Who do you think got those guys? Covert and Cowher. Cowher knew what the hell he was doing. But, like I said, Covert made the mistake of thinking Tomlin could be involved in that. Tomlin's a good coach. I'm not knocking. I give him the bonus. He doesn't know what the hell he's doing when it comes to bringing in product. Okay? Let the man coach. Some guys got one section of things that they need to focus on only. And that's where he's at. He's a great coach. But he shouldn't have his hands involved in drafting. Now, Con, you just got the job. You did a good job. I commend you for finally, because Covert wouldn't even do it, drafting somebody for the line. Problem is, you tried to throw a bunch of veterans around him to do an immediate pothole fix. Doesn't get done that way, son. So do something great in history, rebuild the dynasty. You can. You have the opportunity. And Rooney will accept it because he's a class act as an owner. His family always has been. So do the right thing. Steeler Nation is awakened now. And I'm coming out with it because I'm a true fan. I want to see quality on the field. I don't want to see garbage. What I seen yesterday was garbage because you and this executive decided, and I'm sorry, this is where Tomlin was involved in it too, and I know he was. You both put your heads together and you came in, well, let's do a patch job and see if we can get to glory days. It ain't going to happen, son. So I'm calling on Stephen B. and I'm calling on Ryan Clark with your guys' exposure to the NFL as reporters. Get on it. If we want our Steelers team great again, we got to expose what's gone on here. And I'm exposing. That's why this is the Revelation podcast tape that is going to be there, that has put it out there, out to the public, out to Steelers fans, because we deserve to know. And if you know anything about damn football, then you know this was a sham, a cover up of a team. This team is not at the level. I knew it wasn't at the level, although I made a mistake of, maybe they did this quick fix. I should have known because I've never seen a quick fix ever done in any sport. Pothole jobs don't win you championships, and they don't get you in the playoffs. So, at that, yeah, I'm passionate. You can tell I'm a passionate fan because I kind of went off here. Sick of seeing crap. And Con, you've got an opportunity to create history and build the next dynasty. But go out and tell the fans and do it. Don't try to put guys just plugging holes. You see how bad that's gone for you now, don't you? Gone real sour for a team that even last year we had a half decent defense. I can't say we have half decent defense anymore. Thank God for TJ Watt. Thank God for the kid Highsmith coming up. Thank God for Fitzpatrick as our strong safety, Mika. And thank God for Porter being drafted. That was a good draft. But the rest of it, you got a whole lot of damn work to do, especially that middle linebacking crew. That is a joke. That is an utter joke. At least put somebody respectable in those positions. Thank God for Chris Boswell being able to kick a ball the way he does, because we wouldn't have got any points yesterday. You can't win football games not converting on third downs. We all know it. We were always coming up short, and I felt bad for, like, Pickens. I felt bad for Warren. They were doing their part in trying. And get it out of your mind. You've had the years with Dante Johnson having the opportunity the last 3 or 4 years to take that leading role. He is not your number one wide receiver. Right now you do have him. He's a kid though. Pickens will be the guy. But you're going to need somebody to pick up and get rid of Dante Johnson and get somebody who's got a backbone and ain't afraid to be hit. And so he doesn't get butterfingers continually. Get somebody who can complement him. Go get yourself somebody like a Hines Ward or a Santonio Holmes. They're out there. I wasn't a fan of Claypool's attitude. However, I think with good coaching, he could have been converted. Yeah, a good coaching crew can revitalize and rejuvenate a kid. He was still young. He would have been better than Dante Johnson. At least he catches the damn ball. Like my God, and I see the way you want to crown Dante. That's a joke. Because put a little heat on Dante. Oh, his feet just left out from under him. He hasn't even been hit, and his hands became butter. Come on, guys, get real. So you've got the capabilities of having better receivers than that, but get that line fixed. That line has to be fixed, or you're going to get Kenny Pickett killed. And he is a good talent. He can be a star quarterback. This guy can down the road bring. Don't rush it. Do a 1-2 punch while you're rebuilding. Use Mitch Trubinsky. This is the time to use Mitch Trubinsky. Let them work together through the games until you're rebuilt. And then Kenny Pickett has the time to develop properly, and his head ain't ripped off like it was yesterday. Now you got him injured. And yes, You got him injured for your mirage. God help us. So all I say is, please be honest. This is your chance. You're still new, Con. You got a chance to turn this around before you're too deep into it, and then you go down in history for the wrong reasons. So thank you, fans and Steeler Nation. Prepare, put your seatbelts on, because we're going to get crushed next week by the top team in the AFC North, and they will be the Ravens, because they always manage to find people, but at the same token, Harbaugh has been proven he can work with garbage and make it work. That's that type of coach he is. And Tomlin's that way too, but Harbaugh knows how to. He's better at the personnel end of things of knowing how to find quality. So prepare yourselves, put your seatbelts on, because you're going to get yourself slaughtered. We're getting slaughtered next week, and we're going to get slaughtered the rest of the season. We're going to be within, the bottom four in the AFC, and we deserve to be there. And I'd go for broke and just go for that top draft, because boy, we need it, and it's going to take 3 to 5 years to fix this team the way it should have been all along. The year we drafted Harris should have been starting, but we didn't go all the way that year. So you really got to count last year as pretty much the year. Yeah, but you got a couple pieces ahead of time, like Pickett and Harris, already in your system. So what the heck? It's not going to cost you and kill you. It'll be a payoff another 2 to 3 years to fix this team properly. All right, thanks, Steeler Nation, and hit the likes, the subscribe, and leave your comments. Tell me what you thought. I know I was disgusted and disgraced with what I saw, but now I know. I'm calling them out. There's no way in hell this team is the champions of the AFC North basement this year. Mark my words. Don't ask me how the Browns are doing so poorly, because I don't get that. That tells me that Stefanski isn't one of the elite coaches. He's a good coach. Imagine if Tomlin or Harbaugh had that Browns team, they'd win a Super Bowl. So thanks for joining me. We will catch you next week after the next slaughter, and God bless.